Germany, Berlin. Today we'll talk about its history. But before we start, I guess, almost everyone is at least a little bit familiar with Berlin and Germany's notorious history in the 20th century. So for that reason, and also because there is too much information, I will not talk about Nazi Germany and Hitler today. Yeah, sorry, maybe in another video. Coming back to our video, it will be about Berlin's beginning as a city and its evolution up to the 19th century. So, get ready and we start right now. In the early 7th century, Slavic tribes, the later known Haveli and Spravane, reached the region. Today, their traces can mainly be found at plateaus or next to waters. Their main settlements were today's Spandau and Köpenick, metropolitan districts of Berlin. In the 12th century, the region was subdued by Albert Fuhrer the Bear and came under German rule as part of the Margraviate of Brandenburg. At the end of the 12th century, German merchants founded the first settlements in today's city centre, called Berlin, around modern Nikolaiviertel and Schöln. It is not clear which settlement is older and when they got German town rights. Berlin is mentioned as a town for the first time in 1251 and Schöln in 1261. Afterwards, the two settlements merged into the town of Berlin-Köln. Albert the Bear also bequeathed to Berlin the emblem of the bear, which has appeared on its coat of arms ever since. By the year 1400, Berlin and Köln had 8,000 inhabitants. However, a great town centre fire in 1380 damaged most written records of those early years. In 1411, the territory of Brandenburg came under the governorship of the Nuremberg feudal baron Frederick Sigismund. This began Berlin's association with the Hohenzollerns, who from the end of the 15th century as electoral princes of Brandenburg established Berlin-Köln as their capital and permanent residence. The 30 Years' War of 1618-48 laid a heavy financial burden on the city, and the population was reduced from 12,000 to 7,500. When Frederick William the Great Elector assumed power in 1640, he embarked on a building program, which included fortifications that enabled him to expel Swedish invaders. His rule also marked the beginning of the development of canals. In 1701, Elector Frederick III crowned himself as Frederick I, king, in Prussia. He was mostly interested in decorum. He ordered the building of the castle Charlottenburg in the west of the city. He also made Berlin the capital of the new Kingdom of Prussia. Lately, in 1709, Berlin counted 55,000 inhabitants, of whom 5,000 served in the Prussian army. Köln and Berlin were finally unified under the name of Berlin, including the suburbs of Friedrichswerder, Dorotheenstadt, and Friedrichstadt. During the first half of the 18th century, Berlin expanded in all directions. Frederick II the Great adorned the city with new buildings and promoted its economic and infrastructural development. However, the Napoleonic occupation of 1806-08 caused a serious setback to its development. Part of the administrative, economic, and cultural reconstruction was the foundation in 1810 of the Frederick William University by the scholar and Minister of Education, Wilhelm von Humboldt. The city had its first popular uprising in 1830 when tailors' apprentices took to the streets over working conditions. The Revolution of 1848 led to a bloody clash between soldiers and citizenry. By this time, the city's population had risen to 415,000 from about 100,000 a century before. With the opening of the Berlin-Potsdam line in 1838, Berlin became the center of an expanding rail network. Berlin's central position after 1850 in the fast-growing German railway network facilitated the supply of raw materials and distribution of manufactures. As the administrative role of the Prussian state grew, so did the highly efficient, well-trained civil service. The population grew rapidly, from 172,000 in 1800 to 826,000 in 1870. In 1861, outlying industrial suburbs such as Wedding, Moabit, and several others were incorporated into the city. After the quick victory of an alliance of German states over France in the 1870 war, the German Empire was established in 1871. Bismarck had fought and succeeded in leaving out Austria, Prussia's long-standing competitor, and Prussia became the largest and by far most influential state in the new German Empire. And in turn, Germany became the most powerful nation in Europe. Wilhelm II became emperor. Bismarck became Chancellor and made Berlin the center of European power politics. The imperial government and the military establishment expanded dramatically, bringing together the landed Junker nobility, the rich bankers and industrialists, and the most talented scientists and scholars. In 1884 came the Parliament building, the Reichstag. Municipal government was handled in two parts. The Ministry of Police reported to the Prussian government and took control of crime, markets, and firefighting. The civil government had a mayor appointed by the city council. It comprised 144 members elected in 48 wards by universal manhood suffrage. It handled the water supply and sanitation, streets, hospitals, and charitable operations and schools. And so, at the end of the 19th century, our video came to an end. In the next century, Berlin would experience the worst time in its history. Hopefully you know why. As we conclude, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. The history of Berlin turned out to be very interesting, like the history of other world cities. Share in comments which city's history you would like to see next. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And for now, see you on the next journey. Goodbye.